Changing climatic conditions owing to increased economic activities has led to continued strain on natural resources, leading to deterioration of the environment.
When you talk about ecosystem, you're talking about the systems that are living on Earth, living and non-living systems, which is human beings, animal, crops, insects, diseases, water systems. You can even talk about geographical systems. This all they sort of form the identification of that region. Now, when you talk about food security, you've got certain pillars, which means something that is edible, especially to people in this case, because other systems also do eat, and also to make sure that it provides social help, like generate income, and then it provides nutrition, health, that will be related to food. And when you talk about climate, you're talking about issues related to the changing climatic conditions, which certainly impacts the economy, impacts the production, impacts the health of people, and the way people can probably achieve their sustainability.
For economies which largely depend on agriculture to feed both their population and for foreign exchange earnings through exports, management and proper utilization of available land and other natural resources is non-debatable.
Ecosystems are actually the foundation of our economies. They're the foundation of feeding the population. They're the foundation of having a healthier population. And therefore, if they continuously destroy, then the economy of the country will definitely falter at some point, and therefore it will be good to institute and put in place policies whereby the ecological services which are provided by this ecosystem can be costed and somehow mainstream into accounting systems within the country, so that GDP is not only about services, but it's also about our ecosystems.
With Africa touted as the last frontier, mineral exploration has quickly taken shape and is like a two-edged sword, with the vast prospects in gains countries stand to benefit from on one hand, and degradation thereafter owing to the exploratory activities undertaken.
The population of Kenya currently is 40 million at the moment. So to be able to feed the 1 million who are food insecure and provide food to the 40 million Kenyans, definitely you need to look at the ecosystems. But the current exploration that most mining companies are carrying out, they're destroying our ecosystem, they're destroying our forests, they're interfering with our wetlands. And the services which these ecosystems, whether it's forest, whether it's wetland, provide, ranging from water supply, soil formation, disease control, and also resilience to extreme events. These issues, when you quantify them in monetary terms, it's quite a lot of billions that if you compare that to the mining, which is short-term investment, with the ecological functions, which are actually long-term, you provide services now, medium-term, and even long-term, then emphasis have got to be put to in protecting these ecosystems.
To reduce these effects and for a balance to be created between the environment and its beneficiaries, land rehabilitation will be critical for food productivity, security, and for sustainability to be achieved.
If there is an area that has been abandoned and needs reclamation, it definitely needs to be taken up very seriously, and the government and even the population have got to take this into consideration, that if there are areas which have not been reclaimed and there is potential that they can be reclaimed, then it's very, very necessary for government to ensure that they can be able to put policies in place whereby any area which is unreclaimed in the country needs to reclaim, ensure that it is vital for food production, because it is only when you can be able to have fertile land, then you will be able to have sustainable food production systems and at the same time contributing to people's livelihoods.
The concern is that governments have been left out to tackle the looming challenge. But how can private sector participation be harnessed towards helping address the situation?
Well, the private sector per se is the food system. You know, the food system is the private sector. I mean, farmers are private people. Most of the food manufacturers are also privately established entities. And consumers, you and me, we are private individuals too. So we have all a clear interest of being part, as I said, of the solution. helping really to feed the world.
In the case of adaptation to some of agricultural activities, both options are available. There is an element of investment where you have commercial agriculture, where you might probably have some elements that will attract the private sector. But at the same time, there are those elements that probably will not attract the private sector, who probably would need the government intervention, the public sources.
For environmental conservation, food security and management of all ecosystems to be achieved in the long run, intervention on land management practices will play a critical part towards addressing climate change concerns.
All these interventions that have been done in an effort for sustainable agriculture production will not probably meet this rapid changing. And this is where we're saying that maybe we have to look at the rate that we're doing our adaptation, that we're doing our conservative agriculture, that we're doing our sustainable agriculture production, to see if there is a prolonged change in the climate change or the intensity changes. Are we going to cope, you know? And are we going to be able to change the already existing challenges in food production? And that's where climate change comes in.